And right now we'll send it up to ring announcer. Here's Mark Frado.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here in Rosemont, Illinois, the Dome at the ballpark with CBS Sports Network Spectacular Fight Night. Our next contest is scheduled for 4 rounds in the super middleweight division. It's brought to you by Hits Boxing Entertainment and Round 3 Productions. It's presented by Herc Rentals, all the gear you need, NASCAR, and the Chicagoland Speedway. Rosebud Restaurants, it's all about people. Hilton Rosemont, the friendly hotel, only minutes from Chicago O'Hare, and the original Al's Restaurant and Pizzeria in Cicero. The judges for this contest are Rob Hecko, Mike Fitzgerald, and Pat Morley. And controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the referee in charge is Dave Smith. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 167 pounds even. His professional record, 7 victories, 5 defeats, 1 win by way of knockout. Wearing white, trimmed with black, and fighting out of Laredo, Texas. Please welcome Emmanuel Sanchez. And ladies and gentlemen, his undefeated opponent fights out of the red corner. He weighed in at an even and ready 168 pounds. His professional record, 2 bouts, 2 victories, 1 coming by way of knockout. Wearing black this evening, hailing from Macedonia, now living, training, and fighting out of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, Gorjan, Macedonian warrior, Slaveski.
All right, fighters, you both know the rules. Clean, fair fight, start to finish. Touch them up, step back, let's do this.
Dr. David Smith, our referee in charge. Gorjan Slaveski, 23 years of age, or 24 years of age, against Emmanuel Sanchez. Slaveski aiming to bring his record to 3-0. As you see, Slaveski is a southpaw. Both of them are southpaws. It's very rare to see that in the infancy of both fighters' careers.
It's true. That's a very good point, especially when you have younger fighters against each other.
That's part of being in the prospect stage. You got to take on southpaws, you got to take on right-handers, you got to take on different styles.
And despite the fact that Slaveski has only fought once, I mean, he's, as we look at his record, 2-0, fought once a year, but it's not like he's 32, 33, nothing against 32 or 33-year-olds, but from a boxing standpoint, it's okay when you're 23, 24 because you have that time. He's still relatively young. In the words of the group Tower Power, you're still a young man. It's Gorjan Slaveski.
Exactly. Hey, that's nice. The Tower Power reference. You know, you're right. You can get past it when you're young. As Paulie pointed out, it's better to be fighting, but you can get past it if you can start being active, and that's what Slaveski wants to do, in against a crafty veteran. Yeah,
and of course you want to make sure you're in the gym if you're not going to be active, at least improving and getting better. It's not good to be inactive, but if you're in the gym, you're at least becoming better as a fighter. He's got a crafty guy in front of him now. Emmanuel Sanchez looked the part yesterday when he was talking to us, and he's fighting like the part too. He's not giving you a lot of easy looks.
No,
and he's making Slaveski think.
Just landed a really good jab as well, which is one of his calling cards.
And you hear the fanfare for Gorjan Slaveski. Nice right hook that buckled the knees of Sanchez, and now Slaveski goes on the attack. .70 seconds remaining in round 1. Slaveski is swinging for the fences.
I see him calm down a little, maybe cut the ring off a little bit. Of course, it's not easy to do when you got another southpaw in front of you. It's not an angle you're used to seeing, even as a southpaw.
That's a really good point, yeah. And we haven't had a fight go the distance yet tonight, so we'll see if this one can. Early on, though, Slaveski's trying to make it not do that.
And Sanchez leaves himself open, and Slaveski is taking advantage of those openings. He throws a right hook to the body to try to set up something upstairs with that straight left down the middle.
Sanchez doing a lot of fancy, but it's not helping him.
He's finding a home for that right hook. Sanchez is going to have to make a bit of an adjustment there as Slaveski is able to, off some of the movement, create an opening for that right hook. And of course, Sanchez has the same problem. He probably doesn't see a lot of southpaws either, you know?
Right.
Final moments between Gorjan Slaveski and Emmanuel Sanchez. Round 1 in the books.
What's the verdict, Dr. Hopkins?
Blood work says it's draftitis. Just when your fantasy football draft is finished.
5-hour energy protein shots. Energy, protein, 100 calories.
Round 2, this one's scheduled for 4. Gorjan Slaveski and Emmanuel Sanchez. Slaveski wearing the black with the silver, wearing the white with the black trim. Is Emmanuel Sanchez has straight left, and Sanchez is in trouble. And Dr. David Smith says it was a slip. It looked like it was a knockdown, but he ruled it a slip.
I think his hand went over the top of Sanchez and pushed him down, which I actually have a little bit of experience with.
Just a little bit, right?
Just happened to have a little bit of experience. I mean, we'll see it on the replay.
I remember calling that fight, yes.
What a shot there by Slaveski. And yes, as we go ahead and take a look, and David Smith.
There were a couple of good shots that landed for Slaveski. I don't think it was a knockdown, but he did demonstrate again his power in that last sequence.
There's some explosiveness on the part of Slaveski. You know, he doesn't have no cupcake opponent in front of him, but he's got some skills, man.
At this level of his career at 2-0, this is exactly the kind of guy you want to fight.
It's actually kind of tough because I tell you, off the long layoff, nice shot.
Yeah,
off the long layoff,
right.
Fighting a guy that gave a current world champion a tough fight on his way up. You usually stay away from guys like that and say, hey, let's get him on the next one. We keep him busy.
Totally.
Well, there is not a babying process whatsoever when it comes to Gorjan Slaveski. As they are immediately throwing him in there. What a straight left down the middle that caught the chin of Sanchez. And Sanchez is typically, Paulie, as you mentioned, a fighter that you compete against at 6 or 7-0, not at 2-0 so far.
Yeah, exactly, and especially not off a long layoff, because you can see there is some pedigree to Sanchez. He's been in with some tough opposition. Oh, that right hook though, and again, I think that also has to do the reason that nice shot there as well. The reason he keeps taking that right hook, I think, is also because Sanchez doesn't see a lot of southpaws himself, so a right hook is not a shot he sees very often himself.
Under a minute remaining, and Sanchez, his best friend, Regis Prograis, who is making his way up the 140-pound division. A straight left again, but Sanchez is saying that, he likes to take these short fights, and now there is a point deduction for holding.
Just what he needs, right?
Did he get any warnings for that, though? I don't know if that was a little quick on that holding warning.
There may have been a warning earlier, but clearly not something that he needs at this point in this fight.
Another straight left that connected, followed by a right hook to the body. Slaveski is trying to finish out this contest rather abruptly. Under 10 seconds remaining. Gorjan Slaveski in control against Emmanuel Sanchez. This Sunday at 6 Eastern, the steel gates will fly open for the most unpredictable 8 seconds in sports. It is the PBR Built For Tough Series Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic on CBS Sports Network. And yes, those bulls are certainly going to bring their best.
Let me tell you something. I used to ride in the Ben Johnson Celebrity Rodeos, but we never rode bulls. We only did cutting and horses, and the bull riders were part of it. Ray, they are the toughest guys in the planet.
You're certainly a thrill seeker, aren't you, Al?
Let's take a look at...
Let's take a look at maybe that knockdown. I didn't get a chance to see the screen. See if we can get another look at it. The quote-unquote knockdown. Let's see.
And then here's Slaveski ripping with the right hand there, kind of a half hook, half jab. He was throwing that right hook with abandon during the course of that
I wasn't
round.
checking the screen on the quote-unquote knockdown. I wanted to see if that left hand had landed or not, you know?
Yeah, you wanted to make sure because justice will have been served, Paulie.
Yeah, and of course on the second 2 replays, guys, I like the way, you see how what makes Slaveski's right hook effective? He cocks it the same way. Sometimes it comes out as a hook. Sometimes it comes out as like this jumping and stabbing jab. So sometimes the shot is coming up the middle. Sometimes it's coming from around the side. It's hard to anticipate in a split second if you're the opponent and if you're in a southpaw stance.
Sanchez has made a little bit of an adjustment here, using the double jab to kind of disrupt Slaveski in this round a little bit. We'll see if that helps him out.
And a straight left that caught the top of the head of Sanchez. And those shots at the top of the head could be dangerous because it affects your equilibrium and could impair, and your legs go out from underneath you if it lands in the right spot.
Yeah, those shots sometimes can cause
these left hands almost on the temple area.
I tell you, Sanchez is not a bad fighter himself. You know, the difference in his fight has been the enthusiasm at which Slaveski has fought it at. You know, he's obviously
that's a great point.
He's obviously a good fighter, but Sanchez is not a bad fighter himself. You know, and he's a guy who can make you look bad and whatnot. Really, I think the difference in the fight in the rounds has been just the intensity and the enthusiasm Slaveski fights at that has kind of carried him through.
And Emmanuel Sanchez, he didn't have, and a blistering straight left for Slaveski as we near the midway point of round 3. But for Sanchez, he only had 12 amateur bouts and immediately wanted to transition into the pro. So he has been almost in a hurry, has Emmanuel Sanchez, instead of taking his time.
Yeah, learning on the job. He had a week's notice for this fight, but said I was training. So how much he was able to remains to be seen.
He's been locked up at times. So, you know, maybe under different circumstances, Sanchez could be a better fighter, you know, because he does show some potential there. It's just he hasn't been able to develop for one reason or another, you know.
Slaveski's power, obviously, an issue here as well. He's just a more powerful puncher.
Also, I was told regarding the layoffs of Slaveski, he's had 2 surgeries on his left hand, so it's possible. Good shot there by Slaveski. It's possible that these layoffs are caused due to some injuries. Another thing that I can attest to is early on in my career, I had many surgeries on my right hand. When it starts to become chronic, it is really frustrating for a prospect, especially when you have the talent Slaveski has. You probably want to be busier.
And what is that attributed to, Paulie? Is that because of, you know, your hands not being wrapped correctly, punching too hard, particular gloves?
It could be the gloves, it could be the wrapping, it could be your hands, your bones aren't thick enough or strong enough. It could be a lot of things. It could be the way you're punching as well, you know. Obviously, I'm not known as the biggest puncher. Did I think that a lot of my hand injuries had to do with that? Yeah, but at the same time, it also, it could be other things as well.
Gorjan Slaveski and Emmanuel Sanchez. And you are taking a look, Mike Lee victorious tonight, getting his 20th victory. Al, as we look at the landscape of 175 pounds in the top 10, where do you think that Mike Lee falls, and who would you like to see him fight out of these names?
Well, here's a general list of the top 10 light heavyweights. You know, obviously some of those are champion, some of those are top contenders. Betty Jacka champion, and you look at these fighters and you know, which ones can he go against? You look at a guy like Joe Smith Jr. and you say, maybe after another fight, that's a fight that you could see Mike Lee taking. 2 guys that do have local fan bases, one from the East, one from the Midwest. They might make an interesting battle. Some of those names certainly beyond Mike Lee right now, but that's one that might be interesting.
That is certainly an intriguing matchup. Would love to see Mike Lee and Joe Smith Jr. round 4. This is the final round here between Gorjan Slaveski and Emmanuel Sanchez. Can Slaveski get the stoppage, as in our first 3 fights we have had finishes here this evening?
Slaveski really mad at himself right at the end of the last round, pounding the ropes because he looked amateurish, lunging, and he just was mad at himself for doing that.
Yeah, and I think he wants to get a spectacular finish. See what it is, man? When you haven't fought in a long time, you know, you want to give the spectacular finish to the fans, even for yourself, you know, and if Sanchez is not really cooperating, you know, Sanchez is a wily veteran himself, so it's part of the growing process of Slaveski, you know. Sometimes mentally you gotta stay a little calmer. It's not a physical problem. Sanchez is not an easy guy. He's not gonna give it to you.
And Slaveski appeared to have stopped Sanchez in his tracks.
And even though, as we pointed out throughout the evening, this is an extraordinarily small ring, Sanchez has used all of it in trying to elude Slaveski.
Slaveski is athletic. He's darting in and out, but it would be good if he could commit more to the jab and thus allowing him. And now he goes to conventional, back to southpaw.
Just momentarily.
And there's that stabbing jab. You see, sometimes it comes out as a stabbing jab, sometimes it comes out as a hook. I think that's why it's a little bit difficult for Sanchez to find the trajectory of it and defend against it, because it looks the same way when it's first coming out.
80 seconds remaining in the fight.
There's another one.
He is picking apart now. He dips real low, and he comes upstairs to land a straight left.
And a very smart move. Once that jab was starting to land, he said to himself, I can land the straight left behind it, which he had not previously done.
Well, he abandoned the jab in the second and third round. Now that he's gone back to it, Al, it has paid dividends.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ray. And
they're talking now.
Yeah, Sanchez trying to get under Slaveski's skin a little bit, make him maybe make some mistakes.
And Sanchez has some character too, even as the opponent has some character. Obviously, he's losing this fight. Slaveski is trying to be the guy to get a spectacular finish, but they're both trash talking. There are two men in there, you know what I'm saying? And their egos are coming out, you know? Two tough guys in there.
Well, it's one thing to talk, but Sanchez isn't throwing punches. He's merely talking, and he has his hands low. So if you are going to talk, at least throw something.
But he's shooting some counters there. You know, he's trying to bait Slaveski into lunging and maybe try to set him up for a counter. You saw there, he tried to throw that check right hook. And there's a left hand by Slaveski.
The interesting thing is, even though he's not cutting off the ring, Slaveski's still landing a lot of his punches and punctuates what looks like a win for him.
Final moments, Gorjan Slaveski and Emmanuel Sanchez will go to the scorecards. And the fans here enjoying themselves. We will come back and wrap up the evening and get the decision between Gorjan Slaveski and Emmanuel Sanchez, and also bring a conclusion to what has been an eventful evening here in Rosemont, Illinois. You're watching Fight Night. Back to Rosemont, Illinois for Fight Night here on CBS Sports Network. Ray Flores alongside the Northwestern's own, the Hall of Famer, the birthday man, Al Bernstein, the champ, Paulie Malignaggi, as we go to the scorecards with Gorjan Slaveski and Emmanuel Sanchez. Standing by with the scorecards is our very own Mark Fratto.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a big Rosemont Rumble round of applause for these two hard-hitting warriors. Having gone the 4-round distance, we go to the judges' scorecards for the decision. All three judges, Rob Heckel, Mike Fitzgerald, and Pat Morley, saw this contest by a score of 40-35. All three in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated from Macedonia and Chicago, Gorjan, Macedonian warrior, Slaveski.
Gorjan Slaveski, a shutout, unanimous decision victory over Emmanuel Sanchez. What a night of action that we saw, and Slaveski is